Today we will discuss about the lesson kinematics. Kinematics is the branch of physics which deals with motion of the objects without referring to the cause of motion. That means, suppose if this is the object or a body, when it comes into motion, when this is pushed by something, some force. So when this is pushed, then it comes into motion. So here this pushing is the force. This is the cause of motion. So when body is pushed or pulled, then it comes into motion. So here cause of motion is the force. Now in this kinematics chapter, we will not discuss about this force, which is the cause of motion. So we will discuss about the motion of the body only. Motion of the body means how it moves, which velocity, with which velocity it moves. After 5 seconds, what is the velocity of the body? After 5 seconds, what is the distance covered by the body? So these are the things to be discussed when body moves in a particular direction or in a particular path. So kinematics deals with the motion of the objects without referring the cause of motion. That means without referring the force. Just we discuss or we describe the motion of the bodies only. Motion of the bodies means what is the position of the body after 10 seconds, what is the velocity of the body after 10 seconds, and what is the distance covered by the body in 10 seconds. So such type of parameters we will discuss in the case of kinematics. Now that means in kinematics we will discuss about the motion of the objects. Now in this chapter we have to discuss some parameters like position. How do you locate the position of an object? In generally speaking, where is your house or where is your school? When such type of questions are arised, then we will say the school is some 3 kilometers from the railway station, like that. So that means here when you are specifying the position of the object, say here school, when we specifying the position of the school, then generally we say or we require a landmark to locate the position of the school. So here the school is 3 kilometer distance from the railway station. So with referring to the railway station, we discuss or we generally specify the position of the school. That means here the railway station is the landmark. So to locate the position of the objects, a fixed landmark is required. Here the railway station is a landmark, or bus stand can be taken as a landmark. Now in physics, the landmark is called origin. Landmark is called origin. So with reference to the origin, we generally locate the position of the object. And in physics, for mathematical considerations, generally the intersecting point of the 3 mutually perpendicular coordinate axes is taken as the origin. In mathematics, we have a Cartesian coordinate system. Cartesian coordinate system means it consists of 3 perpendicular directions called axes. So this is one axis, and this horizontal axis is generally called x-axis, and this vertical axis, this is called y-axis, and perpendicular to these two you have z-axis like this, and this is written like this graphically because this is the 2-dimensional plane. So you cannot draw directly the third one, that is z-axis. So x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. This is called Cartesian coordinate system. So in this Cartesian coordinate system, this x-axis is perpendicular to y-axis and also perpendicular to z-axis, like this. X-axis, y-axis and z-axis. These 3 axes are perpendicular to one another. So here this is the intersecting point of these 3 coordinate axes. x, y and z. This intersecting point is taken as the origin of the system. Now, referring to this origin, we generally locate the position of the objects. Suppose here a particle is located. So, P is the particle located here. Then to locate the position of this particle, we require distances of the particle from the coordinate axis like this. So, generally it is written like this, x, y, z, p, x, y, z. So, p, x, y, z means, so this p, x, y, z is the point where the particle is located. Here x is the distance of this particle along the x axis like this. So, this is x, distance of the particle from the origin along the x axis like this. And y, this is y, distance of the particle from the origin along y axis like this. Same value, y or y. Here this is y or this is y. Then similarly you have along z axis. So, this particle is located at a distance of z from the origin. So, in this way, to locate the position of the objects in Cartesian coordinate system, we use coordinates like this x, y, z. So, p, x, y, z means the particle lies at the point P, generally located or specified by three coordinates x, y and z. Three coordinates x and y, z, x, y and z. In this way, using a Cartesian coordinate system, the position of the object or a particle could be described, and the intersection of these three coordinate axes is taken as the landmark, and that landmark it is called origin. So, y is the origin. With reference to this origin, we generally specify the position of the objects. Now, while discussing the topic of motion, we have to define few parameters generally comes into the scene. Rest. These are the general terms generally used. When do you say that the body is at rest? When do you say that the body is at rest? When the position of the body does not change with respect to time, with respect to the surroundings, then we say that the body is at rest. Suppose here the table is located. So, after 10 minutes, if the position of the table does not change, then we say that this table is at rest. So, that is rest. So, when do you say that body is at rest? When the position of the body does not change with respect to time and with respect to the surroundings, then we say that the body is at rest. Then motion. When do you say that the body is in motion? When the position of the object changes with respect to time, with respect to the surroundings, then we say that the body is in motion. Suppose if you take a car, so at the beginning the car lies here. After 10 seconds, if the car lies somewhere else, that means its position changes with respect to time. Then we say that the car is in motion. So, rest and motion, these are the relative terms in general, because with reference to some other body, the body may be at rest. With reference to some other body, another body, the body may be in motion. So, we cannot say the body is at rest or the body is in motion. We have to specify the position of the body with reference to certain other body or other point, then only it has meaning. For example, two friends are in a moving train. They are sitting side by side. With respect to your friend, your position is fixed. That means you are at rest. So, with reference to your co-passenger or your friend, you are at rest because your position does not change with respect to time. and with respect to the surroundings, that is with respect to your friend. So you are at rest with respect to your friend. But whereas you are in motion with reference to a person on the platform, because for a person on the platform, the train is moving. So you are also in motion. Hence, your position is at rest with respect to your friend. So you are in motion with respect to the person on the platform. So your position here may be at rest or in motion depending on the reference system. That is here your friend and person on the platform. That way, rest and motion are not absolute terms. Rest and motion are relative terms. That means same body position may be rest or motion depending on the reference system. So if the reference system changes, the position of the body may be changes. That means body will be at rest or in motion. Hence, rest and motion are relative terms. They are not absolute. That means you cannot say the body is at rest and you cannot say the body is in motion. Why? Because same body position may be at rest or in motion depending on the reference system. Hence, rest and motion are relative terms. They are not absolute. So never say body is at rest. Never say body is in motion. Always say body is at rest with respect to A. Always say body is in motion with respect to some B. So you have to specify the reference point, reference system. Then only rest and motion will have meanings. Otherwise, so rest and motion are not correct. So rest and motion are relative terms. Now this is rest and motion. Now comes into when the body is in motion. Say for example, this is the body, this is in motion. When the body is in motion, position of the body changes and hence it covers or it follows a particular path. For example, if this body moves like this along this straight line like this, then it covers this path. Suppose during 10 seconds, if this body moves from A to B along this path, then the length of this path is called distance. So you have distance. So what is a distance? When the body is in motion, the length of the path followed by the particle or body is called distance. The length of the actual path followed by the particle. Here the body follows this path. Hence, length of this path is called distance. Now, the body may move like this or it may move along this path or along this path like this. So body may move from one point to another point in different ways, in different paths. So the length of the actual path followed by the particle is called distance. So here, if the length of this path is 10 meter, so when the body moves from A to B along this path, distance covered is 10 meter. Similarly, suppose if the body moves along this path, length of this path is, say, if it is some 15 meter, then distance covered in this case is 15 meter. Similarly, when the body moves from A to B like this along this path, if the length of this path is some 20 meter, then here the distance travelled by the particle or body is 20 meter. In this way, when the body moves in different paths, depending on the length of the path, distance varies. Hence, distance covered by a body or distance travelled by a body depends on the path followed. So, distance is the length of the actual path followed by the particle is called distance. So, this is distance. Now, here we are not specifying the direction. Hence, in physics you have two types of quantities depending on the direction. Some are scalar quantities. Scalar quantities means they do not have any direction, just they have value. That means they have certain value, magnitude, which is called magnitude. So they have certain magnitude. They are called scalar quantities. So distance is a scalar quantity. It has no direction. So you need not specify the direction here. Hence, distance is a scalar quantity. And there are some other quantities which have both magnitude and direction. Such quantities are called vector quantities. So here distance is a scalar quantity because there is no direction here. So hence distance is a scalar quantity. Now you can also take few examples for distance. Suppose if the particle moves like this, particle moves from A to B 2 meter like this, then the particle moves from B to C like this 2 meter. So particle moves from A to B through 2 meter, then from B to C through 2 meter. In this case, what is the total distance covered? 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2, that is 4 meter. In this case, total distance covered is 4 meter. Similarly, if the particle moves from A to B through 2 meter distance, then from B to C through 2 meter, then from C to D like this 2 meter. That means here the body starts at A and finally reaches the point D. So during this, since it follows this path 2 meter, 2 meter, 2 meter. So total distance covered is 2 plus 2 plus 2, that is 6 meter. This is the path length here, path length. And similarly, if the particle moves like this, A to B through 2 meter, then from B to C 2 meter, C to D 2 meter, again from D to A, this is 2 meter. That means it comes to the same point where it is started, but the path length is 2 meter, 2 meter, 2 plus 2. So this is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 8 meter. Hence in this case, distance covered is 8 meter. In this way, distance of the particle means, total distance of the particle means distance, the length of the actual path followed by the particle. Length of the actual path followed by the particle, that is called distance. Then you have another term, speed. Speed. Traditionally speaking, speed means how fast the body or object moves. How fast the object or body moves, that is a speed. But here we generally define speed like this: rate of change of position of the body, or distance travelled by the body in 1 second is called speed. Distance travelled by the body in 1 second is called speed. That means total distance by total time taken, that is a speed. So speed is equal to total distance by total time taken. So ratio between total distance and total time is called speed, or distance travelled by the particle or body in 1 second is called speed. For example, if you take here in this case, the particle or body moves from A to B through 2 meter in 1 second. Then from B to C through 2 meter in 1 second again. From C to D 2 meter in the same time 1 second. Then from D to A the body covers 2 meter in 1 second. So here total path length is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So total path length is 8 meter. That means total distance is 8 meter. By here total time taken 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So total time taken is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. That is 4 seconds. Here total time taken is 4 seconds. Total distance covered is 8 meter. Hence speed means total distance by total time taken. That is 8 by total time is 4 seconds. Hence 8 by 4, that is 2. So 2 meter per second. This is the speed in this example. So speed is equal to 2 meter per second. Here I have written a parameter like this, meter per second, because speed is the distance traveled per second, distance traveled in 1 second, that is speed. Hence, to specify the standard value of a physical quantity, we use a unit called unit. So standard value of a physical quantity is called unit. So for every physical quantity you have unit, because by using that unit, by seeing that unit, you know that the parameter or the physical quantity is some speed or distance or something like that. So to specify, to recognize the physical quantity, we use a standard value, and that standard value is called unit. So here unit of speed is meter per second. So in this example, the speed is 2 meter per second, like that. So speed is a scalar quantity. Again, you have distance is a scalar quantity. Similarly, speed is also a scalar quantity. It has no direction. It has no direction. So speed is also a scalar quantity. This is speed. Now displacement. So this is another technical term generally used in kinematics or dealing with motion. Displacement. Previously we have discussed distance, about distance. What is distance? Distance is the length of the actual path followed. For example, this is the body, moves from A to B along this straight line direction, or along the straight line in this direction. Particle may also move from A to B like this or like this. Out of these three paths, which one is having the least distance? This is the least distance. Now the least distance or shortest distance between 2 points is called displacement. So displacement is the shortest distance between 2 points. When the distance is minimum or shortest, when the body, or when you, if you take the straight line distance, that has the least distance, because out of these three, this is the minimum distance or shortest distance. So straight line distance, you can say like this, straight line distance or shortest distance between 2 points is called displacement. So this is the displacement. Since it has direction, when we use the term displacement, you say that a body moves from A to B, or body displaces from B to A, like that. So when we use the term displacement, we generally say the direction of motion. Hence displacement has direction. Hence displacement is a vector quantity because it has direction. So previously I told, so there are two types of physical quantities. So one type of physical quantities are having only magnitude and without direction, they are called scalar physical quantities. And second type is having physical quantities having both magnitude and direction. Magnitude means value, and direction are called vector physical quantities. So here displacement has direction. Why? When we use the term displacement, we have to specify the direction of motion. The body displaces from A to B, or the body displaces from A to B along northwards or along eastwards, like that. So it has direction. Displacement has direction. Hence displacement is a vector quantity. So when we use the term displacement, in addition to the magnitude, you have to specify the direction. For example, if you take a particle moves like this, a particle moves from A to B along east direction. So generally directions like we write like this. this is east, west, upward is north, downward is south. So generally we use the directions like this: east, west, north, south. So here body moves from A to B through 2 meter along eastward. Then from B to C, same 2 meter, B to C 2 meter along northwards. So here this is the initial point, this is the final point. So the shortest distance between initial and final points, between 2 points means between initial point and starting point. Initial point means starting point and final point. So A is the initial point, C is the final point. Shortest distance means straight line distance. That means you have to connect these 2 points by a straight line like this. Then length of this straight line represents displacement, because this is the shortest distance between A and C. The shortest or straight line distance between initial and final points is called displacement. So length of this line represents magnitude of the displacement. So we have to calculate length of this line. This is 2 meter, this is 2 meter. This is a right angled triangle. So in the case of right angled triangle, this is hypotenuse. Length of hypotenuse means square of side plus square of side under root. So 2 square plus 2 square under root. This is the magnitude of displacement, that is AC. So AC is the displacement in this case. Magnitude of AC, that is the length of AC, is equal to 2 square plus 2 square under root. This is 4 plus 4, 4 plus 4, 8. 8 means 2 root 2, 2 root 2 meter. So in this case, magnitude of displacement is 2 root 2 meter. And we have to specify the direction. In which direction it exists, it displaces. So this is the direction. This means east, north. This is northeast. Northeast. Between north and east, the displacement is directed. Hence, displacement, when you write displacement, the term displacement here in this example, displacement is equal to 2 root 2 meter. In which direction? Northeast. Northeast, that means between north and east. Displacement is directed northeast. So this is magnitude. 2 root 2 meter is the magnitude of displacement, and northeast is the direction of the displacement. So displacement is a vector quantity. It has both magnitude and direction. So displacement is the shortest distance between initial point and final point. Okay, this is displacement. Now, similar to speed, we have velocity. So displacement is similar to distance. Distance is a scalar, displacement is vector. Distance is the length of the actual path followed. That means here, if you take the example 2 meter, 2 meter, the particle actually moving along AB, then from B to C, that is along BC. This is the actual path followed by the particle here. Length of the actual path here is 2 plus 2, that is 4 meter. So in this example, distance is 2 plus 2, 4 meter. Distance is 4 meter, displacement is 2 root 2 meter. So distance, displacement is similar to distance, but distance is a scalar quantity, displacement is a vector quantity, and displacement is the straight line distance between initial and final points, irrespective of the path followed. Irrespective of the path followed, but simply straight line distance between initial point and final point. So you need not describe the actual path, just you take initial point and final point, connect them with a straight line, length of that straight line represents the magnitude of the displacement, that's all. And you have to specify the direction, in which direction it is directed, like that. So displacement in this case is 2 root 2 meter northeast, distance is 4 meter. And here we have, already we have defined speed. Similar to speed, you have velocity. So velocity also refers to the fastness of motion, how fast the particle moves in a particular direction, otherwise, in a straight line direction, otherwise. Whereas speed is also represents the fastness of the motion. Velocity also represents the fastness of the motion, but here velocity requires a direction. So how fast the particle or a body moves in a particular direction, that is represented by velocity. So velocity is the rate of change of displacement of the body. So how fast and what is the rate, or the rate at which the particle displaces. The rate at which the particle displaces is called velocity. That means rate of displacement of the particle. Rate of displacement of the particle is called velocity. That means velocity is equal to total displacement by total time taken. Suppose if you take this example, particle moves from A to B eastward through 2 meter in 1 second, suppose, and the particle moves from B to C northwards through 2 meter in 1 second again. That means here the particle starts at A, reaches the point C after 2 seconds. Total time taken is 2 seconds. Now velocity here is total displacement by total time. What is displacement? Shortest distance between initial point and final point. This is the initial point, this is the final point. So shortest distance means simply AC. What is AC here? This is 2 meter, this is 2 meter, right angle triangle, hypotenuse. So length of the hypotenuse 2 square plus 2 square root 2, that is root 8, that is 2 root 2 meter. So AC is 2 root 2 meter. That is displacement. Magnitude of displacement is 2 root 2 meter. Hence velocity in this case is 2 root 2 divided by total time taken is 1 second and 1 second. Total 2 seconds. 2 cancels out. So root 2 meter per second again you have, because velocity is equal to displacement by time. Displacement is measured in meter, time is measured in seconds. So meter by second, that is meter per second. So in this case velocity is root 2 meter per second. This is the magnitude of velocity. But in which direction it moves finally? So that means when you say velocity, you have to specify the direction. Velocity direction is nothing but direction of the displacement. Here displacement is like this. Hence velocity is also like this. This is northeast. Hence you can write velocity as root 2 meter per second northeast, NE or northeast, like this. So this is velocity. That way velocity also represents the fastness of motion, but in a particular direction. So velocity is rate of change of displacement. Rate of means per second. So displacement covered in 1 second, displacement traveled in 1 second is called velocity. Since it is displacement is a vector quantity, velocity is also a vector quantity, it has direction. So velocity is equal to total displacement by total time taken. So this is velocity. Now you can also discriminate velocity and speed in this example. Here distance traveled is 2 plus 2, 4 meter. So you can write speed. In this case, speed is equal to distance by time taken. Here distance is 2 meter plus 2 meter, because when you say distance, you have to look at the actual path. This is the actual path followed by the particle. Length of this actual path 2 plus 2. This is distance. by time taken, 1 second plus 1 second, 2 second. So 4 by 2, this is 2 meter per second. And here you need not specify the direction. Hence speed is equal to 2 meter per second in this example. Velocity is root 2 meter per second northeast. So this is the difference between speed and velocity. So while you describing the speed, you have to see the actual path. Whereas when you specify or when you describe the velocity, you need not specify the actual path. You simply see the straight line connecting the initial point and final point. Initial point and final point. Straight line connecting the initial point and final point. So speed is a scalar quantity, velocity is a vector quantity, right?